What is up, everybody? Shauna D Man here, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you guys had yourselves a great week, getting ready for the weekend. I wanted to make a video to talk about, as you can tell by the thumbnail, a movie. At this point, I would assume a lot of people have seen it, but if you have not, I wanted to just talk about how weird the movie Sleepaway Camp is. And so it's not probably won't be a long video, but because obviously by this point, tons of people have seen it or done reactions or reviews of it. If you have not seen it, definitely go watch it, for sure. But Sleepaway Camp was in the middle. So the 80s were like chock full of really solid, well, 80s at the time, 80s era solid of horror movies. You had the original Friday the 13th, Evil Dead, Pet Cemetery, was it Cujo, I believe, A Nightmare on Elm Street. So you had just a plethora of movies going, horror movies during that time. And so I like a lot of 80s horror movies because I was born in 92, so a lot of those were semi fresh for me. But one that really stuck out to me as a kid growing up was Sleepaway Camp. This movie came out about 3 years, I believe 3 years after the original Friday the 13th, and it was just part of that whole cliche of, you know, summer camp murders kind of deal. And cause I came across it again the other day, and I rewatched it, and it's just like, the movie is just weird. And it's not really a scary movie. I wouldn't really know how I would define it, but it's not, you know, a typical horror movie. But it's like, viewing it as a kid and then viewing it now is very, very different. And like, obviously you pick up a lot more things when you're an adult. So how I came across this movie was, you know, those situations where, like, when you're a kid, you kind of like, or maybe a young teenager, you wake up in the middle of the night, and you just can't go back to sleep. So that's basically what happened to me. So I just turned on my TV, watched TV for a little bit, hoping to like fall asleep, flipping through the channels. Then I came across Sleepaway Camp. So this was before this is before I had like direct TV and things like that. And so I was just kind of just flipping. You basically have to like just flip through the channels at the time. And I believe that's right. I don't think direct TV, I had cable, but I didn't have direct TV or anything like that. So I'm pretty sure it wasn't, unless you had like a TV guide to know what was coming up. So I, you know, flipping through the channels, came across this. I was like, okay, then we could check this out. It's going to Sleepaway Camp. And again, this movie is just, it's such a weird movie. So let's just get, the acting is really not that great. It is very much bad acting throughout the movie, and the characters are pretty much what your typical kind of campers would be. There was Judy, who was played by Karen Fields. She was kind of like she was the hot girl of the camp, I guess, because her tits had grown in by this point of going to camp, and so she was the, you know, the hot girl out there, and they definitely showed it off throughout the movie in certain sequences. And you also had like camp counselors who they're not very good camp counselors. You had some who were pretty good, but overall they were just your typical not really good camp counselors. And then the adults of the camp were not even that great either. Like, you had the cook of the camp, I believe, Artie, who was played by Owen Hughes. he's a straight up pedophile. Like it's I'm trying to remember what he said. Because he was just talking about there's no such thing as too young, and he's just like looking at the girls and stuff like that. And I was just like, buddy. Now again, me watching as a kid, not really thinking about that, but me recently watching it again, I was just like, buddy, what are you doing? And I was like, do these people know he's like this? Like, you have a literal pedophile working at your camp. And it was so the movie follows Angela Baker, who basically survived a traumatic experience with a boating accident with her dad and brother. And so she, it traumatized her a very good bit. So it kind of got to a situation where, she was afraid of water and things like that. So her and her cousin Ricky, if I remember right, Ricky was the cousin. They go to camp, and the mother is a bad parent as well. Like the adults in this movie are just terrible. I don't get it, like how bad they are. But so basically, the course of the movie is you have your traditional bullies at the camp, and a lot of them, particularly the girls, was Judy and I can't remember who the other person was. Meg. There's another person, but they were basically bullying Angela throughout the film. But at a certain point, people started to turn up dead. You had like the main cook that I mentioned, Artie. Like you get a scene where the lead camp director basically hands him off to Angela to help him, and he's just like, "Oh, there's all sorts of things you can find in the storage room," and like he's legit about to sexually assault her. But Ricky comes in, is able to kind of save the day. But then later on, Angela gets her revenge by dumping, or at least causing a pot of boiling water to fall onto him and just burning him horribly. And it's just like, oh, that's just, it's rough to look at. It's very much rough to look at. And we also have like other players throughout the movie as well. I believe you have Paul, who, or was it? Yeah, it was Paul, who kind of started to develop a little crush on Angela. And she was the first, well, probably outside of Ricky and the aunt. Paul was probably the first guy that she spoke to, and he turns out to be a little dick as well, because like him and Angela having a fun time, and then he has to go and ruin it, trying to get some action from her. Then Judy shows up, and it's just, what is this? What are we doing? Like, she was the worst, just the worst character in this movie. Like, come on. So like I mentioned, a lot of the camp counselors and even some of, not necessarily campers. Well, yeah, I guess so, because we had Artie who got dumped with a pot of boiling water. Then you had another guy who was stung by bees. He was using the bathroom, and he got locked in the bathroom and just got stung by a bunch of bees or wasps. I don't remember exactly what it was. The looks of it were pretty good. You had another kid who drowned after trying to be cute with another female camper. And then another bully gets, I hate thinking about it because it just like cringes my back. But like, she's taking a shower, she gets stabbed in the back, and then the knife is just just driving down, and I'm just like, oh, that's gross. I hate that. And then Judy, she gets a curling iron plugged right up in that area, and like the people in this movie they just die horrible ways for sure. But as these murders start to go on, again, the camp director was having a thing with, I believe, one of the counselors or the camp counselors, and it's just a weird. It's the 80s. It's weird, and he thinks it's Ricky that's doing it. So I don't know if I don't remember if he, and it's not really stated either, if he killed Ricky or not, because one of the campers or one of the people that died was a girl that he liked, that the camp counselor liked, and again, he thought it was Ricky, and he just goes to town on Ricky. Like, he just punches and pounds the crap out of him, only to realize Ricky didn't do it. It was actually Angela this whole time that did it. I don't remember if he actually died in the movie. I mean, he was a kid. He was like a young teenage kid. So I guess with the amount of like blunt force that the guy was doing, probably would have done a lot of damage. But it definitely was something that I can't really think of, and I don't think it's really explained either. So I know this is, like I said, I'm not really going like deep dive into the movie. I just want to just let you know how weird this movie was, but I do enjoy it. But so we get to the kind of the ending of the movie where this is the part where it traumatized me as a kid. So after Angela kills the majority of the people at the camp, pretty much everybody who essentially bullies her, she finds Paul, and they go to the lake, and she just tells him, "Take your clothes off." And Paul's like, "Okay," thinking he's gonna get some. And then the two main camp counselors, I believe it was Ronnie and it may have been Meg. Okay, it may have been Meg, is what I'm thinking. Ronnie and Meg. But the main two camp counselors, they're out looking for people, and they're here singing, and they come upon the lake, and they see Angela, and she looks like she's holding something. And then we get the revelation, and it's best for you guys to just check out this scene here.
Why, I believe it means angel. Why, yes, I'm sure it does. I know you're going to like that name. Won't you, Peter?
How can it be? Oh, God, she's a boy.
Yep, that definitely traumatized me as a kid. Just the face, the noise that was coming from Angela, and oh gosh, I remember it really messed me up. Not for very long, but it was definitely something that was kind of like, I don't know if I could go to sleep again after like seeing that face and hearing that voice. But I mean, Sleepaway Camp is such a weird movie, for sure. But I do like it. I would definitely say it is one of my favorites. There were sequels that came out. I believe there was like 2 more total. I think there was like 4 of them, but I think there were 2 sequels that came after this one. But it wasn't played by Felicia Rose, who played Angela in the original. There, I can't remember who the actress was, but Felicia Rose did come back to reprise a role of Angela in Return to Sleepaway Camp. It's okay. It's fine. But yeah, it's definitely a movie that I would definitely say you should check out. It's just a very weird, a very just, if you're a fan of, you know, like the kind of 80s era of horror movies and things like that, then it's definitely something for you. It's not a movie filled with a bunch of like jump scares or things like that. And obviously, probably during that time, it was probably a lot easier to scare people compared to now, where and when it comes to horror movies, it's very horror and thriller based movies. It's very hard to scare your audience. So probably back then it was probably easier to do it. So, but I'll let you guys, you know, judge that for yourselves for sure. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got. I just wanted to do a quick little video today, just to reminisce about me watching Sleepaway Camp and how it freaked me out as a kid, and rewatching it, I was just kind of like, yeah, it still freaks me out, but it's kind of like, well, I knew I could see why it freaked me out, and it's primarily just because of the ending of the movie, not really the whole movie itself. So it is what it is. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys have yourselves a great weekend. Be sure to check out the channel. Be sure to check out all the other content that is on here as well. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.